Hey everybody, it's Benjamin here at the Centaur Fragrance channel. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Y'all know that we review all those good fragrances, cologne, perfumes, all those great smelly things, so I really do appreciate you stopping by today. Let's talk about Polo Crest. Yes, the Polo Crest, a vintage fragrance. I don't often review vintage fragrances, but here we got one today. I haven't forgotten the fragrances of the past. I do appreciate them, and I do try to smell them from whenever I can. This is a blast from the past. This is one from my dad's collection, so we definitely need to share this one. I definitely need to pull it out and tell y'all all about this juice. So definitely stay tuned. If you do, of course, like my channel, please consider liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and sharing the video, telling a friend. When you do hit that notification bell, make sure you hit all notifications so you never miss out on my regular content. Anyways, my friends, Polo Crest, what do we got on our hands here? And we'll definitely go through everything like we usually do. The smell, the performance, the compliment factor, you know, my thoughts, the price, all those good things. So first off, with the smell, I don't want to keep you, waste your time. This fragrance has, a lot of notes, or a good bit of notes. You can definitely go to Fragrantica and check out the notes on this fragrance. Look a little bit more into what made this fragrance what it is. I don't want to waste your time. I'm going to tell you about the main accords. I'm going to tell you about what I smell. I have some sprayed on my hand here. And what I'm getting in this fragrance is a little bit of a talcum powder smell. A little bit powdery in the background. There's a little bit of that yellowish floral nature, but it's very subdued. It's a very mellow kind of aldehydic feel. The powder is very subdued. It's very flat. It's very mellow. And there is a little bit, just a tiny bit of almost like a citronella, which is unique, almost like oily citrus. Sometimes it can smell quite odd. It's used to scare away mosquitoes. I feel like there's a tiny bit of that in the background. Sometimes it peeks out, plays peekaboo with you. And I do feel like this fragrance does have some musk aspects to it. Especially with the opening, with how that powder comes off. This fragrance does have a musky feel, at least in the opening to my nose. It's not really a musky fragrance, but I do have to say, this fragrance does make me think of musk. Just a tiny bit, just a little bit. Anyways, overall, a powdery, slightly floral fragrance. It's not very remarkable. There's not a lot in this fragrance. It smells like very few notes. It doesn't smell like there's a lot in this composition. It doesn't smell overly complex. It doesn't smell overtly fresh in the opening, and it smells like just more like a heart to the fragrance. It doesn't feel to me like there's really a base to this fragrance. There's not really a opening or a dry down. Mostly of what you get is just a heart to the fragrance. Yes, it's cloudy and musky, and the powdery feel is really going on in the opening, and this thing actually projects really well, for the opening for the first couple minutes. But it quickly becomes like reserved, laid back. There is a little bit of spice hidden in there, maybe a little bit of nutmeg, maybe a little bit of something sprinkled in there to give it a little bit of tiny zing and a little bit of intrigue. But it's not exactly a smell I exactly love, and I don't think that this fragrance exactly performs in a great way. Overall, it's not a bad fragrance. It definitely is a fragrance that has its feet in the vintage realm. This is a vintage fragrance. This fragrance is actually pretty hard to find. It's not easy to find. Again, Polo Crest here is a discontinued fragrance, almost completely dried up. There's one place I found online that was still selling some, about for the $60 range. So there's not a lot of demand for this fragrance. If there was, the price would be sky high. It's a Polo fragrance, so I don't think it's worth seeking out and paying a huge premium for this fragrance for discounted prices. It's a nice fragrance. It's not bad at all, but is it a great fragrance? I personally just don't love the smell. If you're a vintage fragrance lover of the past, you might appreciate something like this. But I don't really think it's a nice smell. It just smells like a odd, slightly green, slightly aldehydic powder. And really, it's mostly just a powdery fragrance. And again, that powdery fragrance sometimes tricks me and makes me think musk. So anyways, I don't really love this fragrance. I just have to be honest with y'all. Y'all know that I always am going to be honest with y'all about everything I review. This fragrance is discontinued. I don't think it's worth seeking out. Not at all. I'm going to keep this review quick and short for y'all. Performance, I was getting anywhere from 6-7 hours, maybe 7.5. It's not a bad performer. It is a little bit more on the reserve side. It doesn't project that much. Sillage is all right. Performance is actually pretty good, maybe a little bit above average for the the longevity of the fragrance. But overall, it's just okay. It's not great. It's not bad. Anyways, compliment factor wise, this was a no compliments, nothing. I don't think this fragrance smells exciting. It doesn't have any citrus to it. It doesn't have anything oak mossy that more would lean to, ladies or people to think that it's more masculine. It doesn't have anything that really intrigues or stands out to the fragrance. Again, it smells more like a heart to the fragrance, and it's really missing the top notes and it's missing the base notes. This is the kind of DNA that maybe they could have thrown some Immortelle in there, or maybe they could have thrown some birch tar or some extra oak moss, and also with the top of the fragrance, they could have mixed in everything with a little bit of red pepper, and really thrown some zing into this one, some citrus and some zing, and some citrus and some red pepper and spices and all of that again, and just made this fragrance really nice. And then the dry down had a little bit more of that oak moss, and added a slight touch of cumin to really give this fragrance a little bit of that edge, maybe a little bit of a slight, almost slightly animalic edge to it. This fragrance needed a spark, and for a vintage fragrance lover, this is just going to be a laid-back, everyday, easy wear kind of fragrance. And for how hard it is to get, I don't know if it's worth seeking out, honestly. Let me know your comments below on what you think about this fragrance, if you own it, if you like it, if you care about it. I just don't think that this one is great. Anyways, compliment factor, I told you all about that. Price-wise, again, it's about $60 if you can ever find it. This one's getting very hard to get. It's almost extinct. So that's my review of Polo Crest. I hope I did it justice. I just don't think it's fantastic. I think that there are wonderful fragrances out there. I think that if you love green fragrances, one of the ones I would highly recommend to you is a Dryad by, I think it's Papillon. It's a niche fragrance. It is expensive, but it's one of the best green fragrances I've ever tried. Y'all probably heard about Enchanted Forest by the Vagabond Prince. That also is a remarkable, beautiful fragrance. And if you're looking for something slightly animalic, something classy, something refined, something truly special, y'all know that Anateus is one of the best classic fragrances out there. Definitely get that hands on Anateus if you're a gentleman, if you're more of a a mature man and you want something that's going to speak 1,000 words for you. Anateus is a good fragrance. So definitely, I hope that you all enjoyed my review today, if I could speak. I hope that you enjoyed it all. Again, if you liked my content today, please give me the good old like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video, hit the notifications. Do that all below. Help me out. And comment on this video. Do you like this fragrance? Have you heard about it? Do you think it's a fragrance that's going to be forgotten? I haven't really seen anybody ever talk about this on YouTube in the fragrance world. I've seen very few people ever hear about this or ever talk about this. So I think that this is another one that's going to go silently into the world of obscurity. Sadly, sometimes that happens with some fragrances. All fragrances can't be winners. All fragrances can't be fantastic. This is one of those. It's going to go away, guys, and probably be vaulted. Never going to hear about it again. Anyways, this is the Scentitar Fragrance Channel. Thank y'all so much for being here. Really do appreciate you. And of course, wear what you love, rock what you got. And I'll see y'all next time, my friends, and bye.